Hello there, wayward travelers and wanderers. Welcome to Overwhelmed in the Realm. This week, we have Aurora's card reading. We will be getting back to our regularly programmed material next week. We had to take a bit of a break and recenter or refocus ourselves on smaller goals. By we, I mostly mean me. Spreading myself too thin, yada yada yada. Too many fingers and too many pies is what happened. So we have less pies and less fingers. So, we'll be back with the podcast next week. So without further ado, here is Aurora and her awesome first time card reading.
Hello, everyone. All right, let's get into it. I'm really excited for this. I have laid out 3 different piles, all containing to your week ahead. If you look here, group number 1, I have a little dinosaur trinket that I actually took from my daughter. I borrowed it. She'll have it back. On the second group, I have this little clay smiley face, which is great because you can use it to rub it and be mindful. Anyways, it just kind of makes me laugh every time I see it. Or group number 3, where I have this little domino here. Alternatively, you can, wave your hands over each pile, see which one kind of resonates with you. Alright, so once you pick which pile you want, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so hello group number 1. You chose the dinosaur. Cute little thing. Let's see. Starting with your oracle. Keep that as a theme up at the top. Once I go over these cards, I'll lift them up so that you can see them clearly. Alright, starting with the theme of the week. Just hold it up so you can see it. It says, "The moment I embrace the peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work." So with the oracle, what comes to mind is let go and go with the flow. I think when we want something so bad, we tend to get overly passionate about it, and we want to control it. We want something so bad that we just want to wait until the end, per se. And that kind of ruins what our real plan is. Sometimes when we want something, it doesn't go as planned, but then there's always a new opportunity that comes up, and we always have to keep that in mind, that we have a plan, there's something waiting for us, and so we just need to stop trying to take a hold of wanting it so bad that it drives us to, plan out the thing that has already, been planned for us. Next off, we have death here. Death is new beginning, end of cycle, but it's also letting go of attachments as well, which I think is perfect for the oracle that we have. It's the same theme of just letting go, surrender. And even with the card too, what sticks out to me is this fire here that's coming from the jack-o'-lantern, and even the glow from the moon. They kind of look that same yellow color, like, again, something, we're holding something that's just passionate for us. And it kind of makes me laugh now, moving on to the Queen of Rods, because the Queen of Rods also embodies this person with this fiery personality. Again, fitting with the theme of just, fire, and that she's the type of person that has this infectious energy and very, like a fire, it's like it could be a brush fire or it could be a slow burn. And you can ultimately decide that for yourself. So, which brings me into the next card, which interestingly enough is the Seven of Cups. Now this is a warning, essentially, that you're not following your ideal path. So again, make sure that you're not trying to take a hold of a situation that isn't meant to be controlled. Understand that you have your own path, and you do have this fire within you, which, kind of moving on, but also, trying to encompass all the cards here is, even with the Hermit here, he has a lantern in his hand, and again, to me, what is happening is, especially with the Death card, is not only are they both holding that fire, but Death is on a horse and he's kind of leading down a path. And I feel like with this, it's almost saying that you're in a leadership position, and as much as you want to control and be an authority, you have to decide what kind of leader you want to be. You're very passionate, you have something that's sparking energy, and you either want it to, engulf something in flames and have people cower, kind of like what's going on here, is he's cowering before him. Do you want people to bow down and cower before you, or do you want to appear almost studious and have it contained in something, and then that way everybody's successful? These are things that you have to keep in mind here. And then the last card that we have is the Ace of Coins here. Sorry, let me bring it into focus. The coins, this is just saying that there is a reward, depending on what you choose. I mean, if you're doing it in a healthy way, you're on the road of self-improving yourself, essentially. You're really taking the extra step to figure out your ways and your behaviors and to correct them. But also keep in mind too that whatever you put into something, you're going to get out of it as well. Always tenfold, and everything always comes back. So you really have to make sure that you are containing your fierce and fiery want in order to look out for people, judging by the situation. So I hope that was helpful. I hope I explained it pretty well as well. This is my first time doing these, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it. Thank you. Bye. So, hello, group number 2. We decided to go with the orange clay happy face. So, let's see what's going on with you. Now we're going to start with the oracle. That's the theme of the week. And then we're going to move on to throughout the week. Alright. So, starting with the oracle here. In any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. So starting here, we have the Hermit. The Hermit really is about going inward, thinking inwardly, self-reflection, isolation, which I am seeing a lot of singularity with this card as far as the one candle here, the one skull, the one cauldron, things that stick out to me like that. It's very singular. Let's see. So here we have the World. These cards in particular, it's all about symbolism within the art. If you don't understand the card, or if you can't see very well, we actually have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in here. So again, with this card, there's a church behind him, and you can guess. If you haven't heard this story, I'm not too familiar with it, but he's basically the same person, but it's almost like two personalities. I'm not saying that somebody's experiencing that, but what I'm getting with the separation, and again, it doesn't have to be religious, but with this card in particular, he has the staircase to the church, this sanctuary. It has this glow to it. There's lights, leading up to it, like it's a bright path, but he's choosing to go into the portal. He's stepping into the portal and turning into another person. He decided to let his curiosity take over him, and that's what the outcome is. What struck me with this card, though, was the fact that everything's balanced with this card. There's 2 lanterns on either side. There's 2 statues on either side. But to me, they signified either the people or the person energy that you are separating yourself from. That they're very balanced, and that they're kind of just overlooking you, turning into this other person. So now moving on to the Page of Cups here. And she's in reverse. So in reverse, it means that you have turned inward excessively, going back to Hermit. You have done self-reflection, or you're just facing inward. You're looking towards yourself. You're thinking of yourself. This is also a warning of a unwelcome message or messenger. So within 5 days, if a new opportunity pops up, be cautious. Which there's a 5 over here, so there's 5 energy, which is like very like Lucifer energy. And also another warning too is be mindful of who you're hanging out with, because depending on who you are mostly talking to, hanging out with, surrounded by, could be a bad influence as well. And just a trigger warning too for mental health. It could be, if you've ever experienced depression, that you're very sunk into yourself. And when you're depressed, you're just not yourself, that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde concept where you aren't who yourself, you're drifting away from things that you were interested in before, that you loved, and there's people around you that are kind of seeing you go down that road and that are very concerned for you. So, be mindful of what you're feeling, what's going on. If you are experiencing depression, please get the help that you need. And make sure that, everything in your life is going okay. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, reach out to somebody, things like that. So moving on with the Queen of Cups, this could encompass somebody in your life who has this very mature mindset, very compassionate for other people. This might be somebody that you have in your life that you need to reach out to, that can give you a hand out. If you are hanging out with other people and they're giving you a bad influence, and the opportunity arises where they want to do something and you're not quite sure what to do, you just need to, do the switch and just kind of drift away from them instead and focus on this person in your life here that has this Queen of Cups energy here and who's really, looking out for you, and reach out to them. And to kind of tie it all in together, we have the Five of Hearts here, and it says, "You pierce my soul. I am half agony, half hope." This card really represents disappointment. When you have your dad or whatever, or a parent figure that tells you, "I'm not mad. I'm just disappointment. I'm just disappointed," and it just hurts even worse to hear that. But to me, it just kind of feels like people that you're hanging out with that aren't really right for you, and you're scared to go and hang out and reach out with those people that really, care about you and who are your true friends, and you're, scared to go back because they're mad, and they might be disappointed, but however, they still love you, and they still care about you, no matter what, A true friend's never going to back down from you, and especially when you have the Queen of Cups here, who is somebody that is still there to help and you can reach out to. I think that is amazing, and you should focus on the positive of how there is that person that can help you and reach out. And, you should really take a moment to, if you are going inward, to while you think about who your true friends are and who's really there to help, and really reach out to them. Or if you're having mental health issues, think about, why are you in this depressive state? Are you taking meds? Are you doing therapy? Are you getting the help that you need? Things of that nature. Well, group number 2, it's been fun. Thank you, and I hope to see you again. Hello, group 3. Alright, so you pick the domino here. Alright, so without further ado, we're going to get into it, and we're first going to lay down a oracle to bring in the energy of the cards and to figure out what the theme of this week is. So I've had Hermit for every one of these groups, so it's pretty interesting that Hermit showed up all 3 times. But anyways, something must be going on. A lot of people in their own energy. All right, so let's get into it. So here we have the oracle, and it says, energy flows where my intention goes, which is awesome. I love that because I am all about intentions. Intentions, intentions, intentions. I always tell people, you know, whenever you're doing meditation, or even like rituals, what are your intentions? You always have to focus on what your intentions are, because something can really mess up if something goes wrong, you know. Really think about what is it that I am seeking, and what am I trying to get out of this. Also think about, as long as you have intentions, you're golden, in my opinion. As long as you're pretty straightforward and you know what your goal is and where you want your life to go, I think that you are a pretty strong person, and you really know where to really hit and what to go towards. So moving on with our tarot number 1 here, we have the Hermit. Which I'm still laughing because I literally have had this for every single group. So moving on to the first card, or the first tarot we have, is the Hermit. The Hermit, like I said, I've had this in every group. It's self-reflection, meditation, it could be solitude. Also, it could be stepping away from authoritative positions, or stepping away from power, or stepping away from current positions even. It doesn't have to be all about, it doesn't have to be about some, you know, or not always, it, you know, is the theme of it, but it doesn't always have to be about like contemplating what you might be feeling and things of that nature. Sometimes it can, you know, be stepping away from something that has to do with outside yourself, basically. Here we have the 2 of Clubs. This represents discovery, so bouncing off of the self-reflection, you know, you see dancers in this card, and if you watched any Victorian movie of how they dance and, you know, they sway, they're doing the same motions, and they're basically mirroring off of their partner's dance. And, you know, there's always a lead, there's someone who's following, but essentially they're, you know, mimicking the same movement. So I thought that was kind of funny how you know, they both kind of represent each other. Okay, to follow, we have the Emperor here. Now, the Emperor can be somebody that's a father figure, or a very masculine person in your life. It doesn't always have to be your father figure. It could be your boss. It could be somebody who has authority over you and is masculine. The Emperor kind of represents somebody who's not really taking your feelings into account. They're very mind over heart. They're very facts over opinion. If this is somebody in your life, you should approach them with expertise, knowledge, because that's something that they tend to value. You know, like I said, they want to see the facts. They don't want what your opinion is. So we'll get more into it, but about what these cards really mean in like a business and a love kind of effect, because this really hit me once I saw all the cards, but we'll get more into that here soon. Another thing to follow with the Emperor can also be you. It doesn't have to be. another person in power, a boss, or anything like that. It doesn't have to be a masculine position. It could also be you, essentially. But it reminds us that if we are in a complex situation, that we need to choose logic over emotions, and think about like past situations or past experiences that we might have that's kind of similar to what we're dealing with now, and look into the outcome that way, rather than feeling like, oh, this just feels like the good choice, so I'll kind of just go with it, kind of thing. Now, moving on to the Five of Rods here. So here it is in telling that there's somebody who's opposing you, that they don't have your best interest in heart, which, if it is somebody like the Emperor, they're not thinking with their heart, they're thinking more with their mind here. Let me show you what the card is. But a reminder is that you should stand firm on what your beliefs or your decisions are, and appear strong even if you might not feel like you are. Again, with your intentions, if remember what your intentions are and follow that. And also heed the advice of, if it is somebody of the Emperor kind of personality, that you should lead more with facts and knowledge and advice, rather than your emotions, unless if it's something that you're passionate over, just remember to heed with caution always. Yeah, heed with caution. Here we have the Fool. He's very, you should probably keep it up, because again, these cards have so much art and symbolism in them that it's like you really have to kind of look out for. So here you see the Fool, who's walking carelessly, very childlike, very naively towards a cliff. He has no worries. This card also reminds us that there's like endless possibilities and endless opportunities. So in dealing with like a business situation, if you're faced with a situation, you kind of discover something, you go to talk to your boss who's like this, remember to keep it professional, facts only. Or if you're in a business with a partner, you're kind of both like opposing like different sides of the situation, that you need to, again, what are your intentions? What are you trying to do? Is it going towards the big picture of what you want it to be? But all in all, if it is business related, just know, like, if it is like a temporary business, like, how big is the situation for you? If you're only there temporarily, where we all have that job where we're just like, oh, I don't really see me working here. This is more of like a step to get experience, and that there's always another possibility of something happening. If it's a relationship or love, you could, or if you're already in a relationship, which, that tends to happen a lot when you're in a relationship with somebody, and all it is basically based off of your feelings. You're dealing more with the emotional baggage of somebody else, and that tends to start a lot of arguments, and friction of, gearing towards emotional parts of it. But either way, figure out where your intentions are, and just know that always be cautious in where you're going and where you're stepping, no matter what, and to realize that there's always another possibility, or there's another solution to every problem. I hope this was helpful, and I really enjoyed doing this, and I thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you. Bye.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all of those helpful YouTube things that you could do. And we hope to see you back on Overwhelmed in the Realm.